Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our sharp-eyed viewers, Harry Lincoln. Thanks for the suggestion, Harry. You asked, why are school buses yellow? If you've ever been stuck behind a big yellow bus, impatiently waiting for it to move, you might have wondered, why this color? Why not blue, red, or even zebra-striped for some extra flair? Today, we're rolling back the clock to uncover how school buses got their signature shade. And trust me, it's more scientific than you'd think. So, if you're curious about how safety, psychology, and a man with a very specific vision led to the creation of School Bus Yellow, stick around as we hit the road into history, right here on Explaining Everything. The story starts in 1939 with a man named Dr. Frank W. Sear. If you've never heard of him, don't worry. He wasn't a pop star or a celebrity chef. He was an educator, and more importantly, he was obsessed with school bus safety. He saw a problem. At the time, school buses came in a variety of colors, from blue to red to a shade of green that probably looked like expired guacamole. It was total chaos. So, Doctor, Sear did what any reasonable person would do. He organized a conference. And not just any conference, but a school bus color convention. That's right. A room full of people in suits sat down to debate what color would be the best for school buses. Because apparently, the 1930s were wild like that. After much discussion, and probably an excessive amount of coffee, they landed on a specific shade, National School Bus Glossy Yellow. Sounds fancy, right? But this wasn't a random choice. Science had a lot to say about this color. First, yellow is one of the most attention-grabbing colors. Our eyes are naturally drawn to it, even more than red, which is why warning signs and taxicabs often use yellow too. Think about it. If a banana is going bad, you notice immediately. If an apple is bad, well, you usually find out the hard way after biting into it. Yellow just screams, "Hey, look at me!" But there's more. Yellow is easier to see in the early morning and late afternoon, which, conveniently, are prime school bus hours. Even in fog, rain, or when you're still half asleep, yellow pops out. It's basically the color equivalent of that one kid who never stops talking in class. Impossible to ignore. Beyond just being eye-catching, yellow also plays a role in reaction time. Studies have shown that people detect yellow objects faster than almost any other color. When a school bus is barreling down the street, you want drivers to notice it as quickly as possible. Not just because it's full of tiny humans, but because kids have the attention span of a goldfish and may or may not decide to run into the road at any given moment. And speaking of safety, the black lettering on the side of the bus. That wasn't just a random aesthetic choice. Black on yellow provides the highest contrast, making it super easy to read, even from a distance. So, when you're running after the bus you just missed, at least you'll know exactly which school you're not getting to on time. Now, you might be wondering, if yellow is so great, why aren't all vehicles yellow? Well, there's a reason. Imagine if every single car was bright yellow. Traffic would look like an endless sea of mustard. Plus, the whole point of school bus yellow is that it stands out. If every car looked like a giant lemon, the magic would be lost. And before you ask, no, pink was never an option. Sure, it's fun, but it doesn't have the same visibility as yellow. Plus, can you imagine the kind of chaos if buses were hot pink? Middle schoolers are already a hormonal disaster. Throwing neon pink buses into the mix would just be asking for drama. Dr. Sears' choice in 1939 stuck, and for good reason. Today, school buses across North America and even in other countries still sport that same iconic color. It's a universal sign that kids are on board and drivers instinctively slow down when they see it. It's also deeply ingrained in our culture. Think about how often yellow school buses show up in movies, TV shows, and nostalgic conversations. You don't see people reminiscing about their fond memories of the beige commuter van. The school bus is iconic, and its color plays a huge role in that. Wait, do other countries use yellow buses? Not always. While North America swears by yellow, other countries do their own thing. In the UK, kids mostly take regular public buses, often red or green. Japan goes all out with pastel-colored buses, some even shaped like animals. Meanwhile, parts of Europe use orange or white, and in India, school buses can be bright blue. The goal is always safety, but yellow remains the gold standard for visibility, which is why it still rules the road worldwide. So, why are school buses yellow? Because science said so. Because our eyes are wired to notice it. Because safety matters. And because, at the end of the day, it's just the right kind of loud. Unlike that one kid in the back of the bus who thinks shouting is a personality trait. Next time you see a school bus, give a little nod of appreciation to Dr. Tier and his color-choosing conference. And maybe take a moment to be thankful that you no longer have to sit through a bumpy ride while someone in the back eats a suspiciously old sandwich. Now, go forth with this incredibly niche knowledge and impress someone. Or at least, the next time you get stuck behind a school bus, you'll know there's a solid reason for its glaring, can't-miss-it color. And that's the story behind School Bus Yellow. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss another weird and wonderful explanation. And if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.